Microtransactions, not what you just call a love-making session with yours truly. I'll be honest, a lot of DLC does seem to fall into that overwhelming gully of costume packs, paywalls, and even unlocking of content that's already on the goddamn disc. It's a practice which has seen publishers squeeze every last penny from the consumer, and it's a far cry from the days when you'd actually, have to unlock the fun stuff. But don't worry, for there are some devs out there who give a damn and go out of their way to make memorable and engaging extra content. DLC that not only adds fresh experiences across the board, but in many ways impacts the base game for the better. So let's celebrate them today. However, as this is a DLC list, I'm gonna have to make you pay for the good stuff. So I've got some of the lads in the office to pitch in with their favourite choices. Think of me as the base game, the most expensive piece, and them as the little nuggets of fun. With this in mind, I'm Jules, WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 essential DLC packs that complete your favourite games. Number 10, Bioshock 2, Minerva's Den. Yes, we all know I love Bioshock. I've mentioned it time and time again that this game gets me wet. Now, Bioshock 2 was a strange beast, often viewed as the weakest entry, but I loved what it added to the overall lore of Rapture and its tense, action-heavy gameplay. Yet the thing that really deserves more love is the DLC for this doubling down of Big Daddies, Minerva's Den. Set outside of the main areas of Rapture, this tasks you with taking down a rogue AI called the Thinker, which has been sabotaged and is making all of Rapture's security systems go absolutely nanas. Playing as a big daddy called Sigma, you have to uncover the story as to why this came to be, all the while fending off new splicers with even newer and more lasery weapons. The additional emotional weight of the story makes this a tale worth telling, and its implications on the main narrative carry on the ideas of the suffering of one for the benefit of many. It's excellent and well worth a squirt. Number 9, Left 4 Dead 2, The Passing. The sheer amount of content that you get in The Passing is exceptional. New weapons, new environment styles, and even new infected. But its real selling point was that it allowed players to see 3 of the original survivors from Left 4 Dead 1 partway through the experience. To see the interactions between the two groups is easily worth the price of admission alone. But it's the clever map design and, as always, brutal difficulty which will see you coming back time and time again. While not as epic as some of the others on this list in terms of scope, The Passing is a love letter from the franchise to its fans, and annoyingly once again makes us yearn for Left 4 Dead 3. Number 8, XCOM Enemy Within. Yum 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 yum, I want this game in my f***ing tum. I hands down f***ing love the resurrected XCOM Enemy Unknown title. It was tactical to a point of obsession, incredibly varied, and harder than your dad at a gay sauna. So imagine my quiver when I found out that the expansion to this almighty beast, the Enemy Within DLC, would not only add more units, more equipment, more mission types, but also a new enemy faction who are humans trying their best to open their arseholes to their new alien overlords. It fits so seamlessly into the base game that it's impossible for me to play it without the DLC additions. So vanilla is the experience now without the rum-soaked ice cream add-on. It's the very definition of a DLC which completes the experience you'll have with a title. Number 7, The Ballad of Gay Tony. One of the biggest strengths of The Ballad of Gay Tony is its brighter tone. The original release of Grand Theft Auto 4 was considered much too dark and gritty for most people, which is massively fixed by the focus on all the drugs, nightclubs and money that The Ballad of Gay Tony has. There's a real Vice City vibe to it, which is the best GTA to 1 to 8. This new tone also seeps into the gameplay, finally introducing parachutes, base jumping, dancing, and all new weapons. All of the additions in The Ballad of Gay Tony work to make Grand Theft Auto 4 a more fun experience, making it the best DLC the series has seen so far.
I bloody love the Borderlands series, it's not for everyone, that I can appreciate, claptrap, but the irreverent meme humour it's both revered and reviled for wasn't always there. Admittedly, the first Borderlands had its moments of levity, but it was only with the Secret Armory of General Knox DLC that the writers properly went a bit mental. As well as that, for just $5.99 you got a level cap increase of 11 levels, new gears and loot, new vehicles, 44 new missions and stories within a new area, new trophies and achievements, loads of secret bosses, and additional backstory for core characters. It was fantastic, and quite frankly, you're a fool to turn down 15 hours of content for £6. The
The Shivering Isles expansion for Oblivion is absolutely insane in every conceivable sense of the word. Accessed via a rather perturbing door that appears on an island just east of Breville, the expansion consists of an entirely new world. A plane of Oblivion belonging to Sheogorath, the Daedric Prince of Madness. What immediately strikes you about the Shivering Isles realm is it's not just something that's been stitched together with pre-existing Oblivion assets. Everywhere you look, there are giant alien-looking plants, bizarre wild animals you've never seen before, and murderously insane inhabitants clad in some rather alluring new armour sets. With a whole host of new quests to complete, weapons to wield, and wacky characters to interact with at arm's length, Shivering Isles ticked all the necessary boxes of an RPG expansion, but then went far above and beyond the line of duty with all the love and care they put into actually building an open world ruled by a Daedric Prince of Madness. The Shivering Isles DLC is utterly bonkers, and you'd be mad not to give it a try.
Whoa, Jules. Don't think you're going to be having yourself a little DLCs video without paying homage to the original. That's right, this right here is the Sonic & Knuckles and Sonic 3 cartridge together to give us perhaps one of the greatest platforming adventures of all time. But why was the game split into two? Well, one of the lead developers, Takeshi Iizuka, reveals that the game was so big and so bold with intricate levels, better graphics, new power-ups, that there was so much greatness that they couldn't fit it onto one cartridge. Not only that, Sega had given them strict deadlines because the game had to be released in conjunction with a McDonald's promotion nonetheless. So it was clear that Sonic 3 wasn't going to be released in its entirety on the deadline, so they split it into two. And if you take this humble Sonic & Knuckles cartridge here and partner it with Sonic 2, you're going to be able to play through the game as Knuckles, which you couldn't previously do. And if you pair it with Sonic 1 and almost any other Mega Drive cartridge, you can access a seemingly unlimited number of special stages. This was how it's done.
Number 3. Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare somehow manages to make the tried and true trope of zombies feel fresh again. Despite not being canon to the story of Red Dead Redemption, Undead Nightmare still features a fantastic cast of characters and situations, balancing the new horror tone with the comedy Rockstar is known for. I mean, just take any interaction with Seth as proof of this. The best additions to Undead Nightmare are, of course, the zombies. Unlike some zombie games, the enemies in Undead Nightmare feel legitimately dangerous because of the large numbers of them and the lack of ammo for you. Somehow, Undead Nightmare turned Red Dead Redemption into a survival experience, and that's certainly not a bad thing. Oh, and the Horses of the Apocalypse are basically the coolest thing ever. Number 2, The Last of Us, Left Behind. It just goes to show the sheer writing power within the Naughty Dog staff when you can get a 2-hour piece of DLC which will bring you to tears and make you care deeply about its characters. Left Behind is essential playing. There's no other way of putting it. It finally gives you the insight on how Ellie became infected while also expanding on her backstory through her relationship with Riley. Now true, this experience, like bedding Blompier's mum, feels very similar to what you've been doing loads before in the base game, but this is about context. The scenes of Riley and Ellie exploring the mall are filled with comedy, tragedy, terror, and it all blends so seamlessly to create an emotional state in the player that makes it even harder to let go of this game once you finally complete it. And number 1, The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine. Excuse me for a moment while I perform fellatio on The Witcher 3 once more. I genuinely didn't think it was possible for one of the greatest games in recent memory to get even better. Yet that's exactly what Blood and Wine achieves. A huge part of this is due to the story, which has always been one of the most important factors in the Witcher series. Big G travels to Toussaint to help its inhabitants deal with a monster problem, which ends up being one of his biggest challenges. One of the first things that you'll notice about the expansion is its lighter tone, as Toussaint is presented as a much more traditional and fairy tale-esque world. And as such, a huge amount of enjoyment comes from seeing him interact with these elements. As you can expect, this DLC offers a ridiculous amount of content as well, and after another metric shed-load of time in this wonderful area, you'll have a conclusion which feels personal, and more importantly, utterly rewarding. And that's our list. Got any other DLC packs which should be praised for what they added? Well, let me know about them here. I bet anything that Shadow Broker will be mentioned. I'm just going to nip that one in the bud, okay? I wanted to put it on. Think of it as my number 11, okay? Anyway, swing by whatculture.com for more news and articles like this every goddamn day. And as always, I've been Jules, you've been awesome, and I'll speak to you soon.